Hello and welcome back to another episode of Overlay DFS. I'm your host, Ira Silver, and I'm feeling good. I don't know about you, but we got a great show for you today. Are you sick and tired of losing on FanDuel and DraftKings to sharks that have over 150 lineups in each contest? I know I was. That's why I joined the revolution at OverlayDFS.com. We are also available in the App Store at Overlay Fantasy Sports. So, simple game. Start, sit. You got to decide who you want to start, who you want to sit, who you want to play, and who you want to fade. So, for instance, let's just say in weeks 10's matchups, we have Lamar Jackson versus Aaron Rodgers. You need to figure out and you need to decide and you need to pick who's going to have more fantasy points, Lamar Jackson or Aaron Rodgers, total fantasy points. If you're right, you get a win. If you're wrong, you get a loss. It's as simple as that. You make 12 picks plus 3 alternates in case of inactives. And the person, the top 10% of the field, with the best win-loss tie record will go ahead and win 9 times their buy-in. If you go a perfect 12-0, you will win the grand prize progressive bonus right now. In the $20 game, it is $7,240 as we speak, and that keeps going up and rolling over until someone hits it. Let's go ahead and share my screen here so we can talk about the matchups on Overlay DFS here for week 10 NFL. So you see here, $20 week 10 progressive. Right now we have 112 entries. That number will, I believe, get close to double by tomorrow kickoff. To go perfect 12-0, $7,240. Top 10% will win $180. That's 9 times your buy-in. Let's look at a couple interesting matchups here. If you guys don't notice, I'm wearing my shirt backwards today, my SuperContest shirt backwards. It's great teams cover. The front of the shirt says good teams win, and the back of the shirt says great teams cover. And we're going with the great teams cover on the front because we need to catch a little run here in the SuperContest and the Circa Millions contest. So we'll go through that right after the matchups. So let's talk about a couple different matchups from each position. You can pick any position you want. All 12 matchups can be quarterbacks if we have that many. All 12 can be running backs. Doesn't matter. You just got to pick. Basically, the object of the game is pick your top 6 or 7 that you think are locks, and then go ahead and choose the remainder. So, this is how it looks. You can pick who you think's good. You can pass on games. There's so many to choose from, and so on and so forth. So this would be Lamar Jackson right here would be my 12th ranked confidence pick. So 12, basically if everyone finishes 8-4, it then goes to the tie break points to go ahead and decide who's going to win the top 10%. So the more tiebreaker points you have, the better. Lamar Jackson right here is my 12. So if I win the Lamar Jackson versus Aaron Rodgers, if Lamar Jackson has more fantasy points, I get a win. But not only do I get a win, I also get 12 tiebreaker points. So the more tiebreaker points, the better. So you want to rank your most confident tiebreakers, your most confident picks in the top half of your pick. So your most confident would be the 12, the 11, the 10, and so on and so forth. And then 1 is your least confident. All right, let's talk about a couple interesting matchups here that I like. I like this matchup a lot. I know it's going to probably go under a lot of people's radar here, but Matt Stafford versus Josh Allen. Matt Stafford is a really good quarterback when it comes to padding his stats. You see what I did there? Josh Allen loves to break away and run the ball. He has a lot of upside with his feet. I think Josh Allen has a little bit better of a matchup here against Cleveland. Chicago's defense is tough and always gives Matt Stafford some problems. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game here in Chicago for the Detroit Lions. But, I could be wrong. If Chicago can't get their offense together and give their defense a break, it could be the opposite effect, actually. You just got to choose who's going to have more fantasy points. If you're right, you get a win. If you're wrong, you get a loss. Another quarterback matchup I think is interesting is Daniel Jones versus Jared Goff. Daniel Jones playing on the road against the New York Jets, and Goff on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think this is a really interesting matchup because the Pittsburgh Steelers, surprisingly, their defense looks pretty good this year. A lot of people, I wasn't so high on them on their defensive side of the ball, but they look pretty good the last few weeks. And Daniel Jones, he's got a lot of upside with his feet against the Jets, who lost last week against the Dolphins. So it'll be interesting to see if they bounce back here or not. If the Jets will bounce back and play tough against Daniel Jones. Running back position that I think is an interesting matchup here is let's see. Actually, let's talk about Alvin Kamara versus Michael Thomas. I think that is the most interesting matchup here, probably on the entire board. You got a wide receiver and running back again on the same team playing against the same team. So see what the usage is like. Kamara is finally ready to go and healthy after being out for a little bit, and Michael Thomas has been a stud. Off right off the bye. Yeah, they were on a bye last week. Off the bye, it'll be interesting to see how Sean Payton utilizes both of them. But I think that is going to be the most interesting matchup of the day. So let's keep an eye on this matchup here throughout the day on Sunday. Another wide receiver matchup that I love. I love how we do the Beckham versus Landry every week. I think that's a lot of fun. Again, I love those matchups where you have the same position on the same team. And you got to decide who's going to have a better day fantasy-wise. Let's talk about Jimmy Graham versus Greg Olsen. I think Greg, and they're playing each other here in the afternoon games. I think this is also an interesting one because Jimmy Graham has the upside to catch a couple touchdowns. He's not exactly a high volume guy. Greg Olsen, though, he get hot here with the quarterback, and he can get hot with a few catches. He's not necessarily dependent on the touchdown like Jimmy Graham is. So it'll be an interesting matchup here to watch on Sunday. Let's jump ahead and go into the SuperContest Picks for week number 10. Excuse me, guys. Thursday night, that was an interesting game. Chargers had a chance to win the game. The game went over, which is what I had in the game. And the Raiders go ahead and win the game. That was a fun one to watch. It was actually a watchable Thursday night game. Chiefs on the road against the Titans. The Chiefs are a 3.5-point favorite. Patrick Mahomes is supposed to be back. I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. That's a pass game for me. Browns -3 at home against the Bills. I think this is a bounce back spot, and I keep saying that every week for the Browns. If they don't win this week, I might have to puke myself here. But I'm going to go with the Browns -3 at home against the Bills. Buccaneers at home -4.5 against the Cardinals. It's a pass game for me. Jets at home against the New York Giants, getting 2.5. I think this is a bounce back spot for the Jets. I don't believe this is a play. Let me pull up the plays here so we can get an accurate count of what we have in the Super Contest. So we got the Browns. Oh, we did take the Jets. Okay, so we got the Jets, the Browns. Let's see. Saints -13 at home against the Falcons is a pass game for me. Too many points. Matt Ryan coming back. I just don't know how this game's going to shake out. Bengals at home getting 10 against the Ravens. This is a pick for me. I think the Ravens might be on a high from beating New England on Sunday night football last week. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Bengals. I'm going to gamble here and take the Bengals +10 at home. Next game on the board, Bears -2.5 against the Lions. Not a game for me to play here in the Super Contest. However, if it's ever a spot the Bears can go ahead and bounce back here, this is the spot. Colts at home -10 against the Dolphins. I'm going to go ahead and take the 10 with the Dolphins on the road at the Fast Track in Indy. That's number 4. And number 5, no, we're not at number 5 yet, but the Packers at home -5 against the Panthers. This is a pass game for me. I think the Panthers getting 5 is probably a really good number. I think the Packers are the most overrated football team in the NFL. Next game on the board, Rams -3.5 against the Steelers. I'm going to go ahead and be the sucker here and take the short road favorite, better team, the short road favorite in Heinz Field against the Steelers. It's probably a sucker's bet, but nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and take the Rams -3.5. Sunday Night Football, Cowboys -3 at home against the Vikings. That should be a fun one to watch as well. Not a pick, obviously, but if I had to take one way or the other, it'd probably be the Vikings. And Monday Night Football, 49ers -6.5 against the Seahawks. It seems like a lot of points here. Probably a lot of people are going to go ahead and bet the Seahawks. However, the 49ers have looked like a team not to be reckoned with here, or a team to be reckoned with. They will destroy you and crush your soul every time you bet against them. So a stay away game for me, but it should be a fun one to watch finally on a Monday night game here. And that's it for us here. Again, let's round out the 5: the Browns, the Jets, the Bengals, the Dolphins, the Rams. Let's go ahead and get some good luck with the backward shirt. Great teams covered. Let's go. Again, please follow us on all social media at Overlay DFS on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Please comment and like below. Your feedback and comments mean the world. And I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks so much for joining me.